Oh my goodness. Is this like a library? The Green Death. The weathered man peered into the eyes of the young nomad as if trying to divine his thoughts. Don't misunderstand, he said. I don't mind unexpected guests, but you must recognize when a man lives alone in the middle of the desert, he has a right to ask uncomfortable questions. The boy wouldn't make eye contact, instead glancing nervously through the window as if expecting to spot an armada of battle drones coursing straight for him across the night sky. I'm running away, he muttered after a moment of hesitation. From Green Phantom. He's been following me since Yellow Creek. The old man didn't move a muscle, save for a twitch at the corner of his mouth, revealing he knew more than he cared to admit. You have nothing to fear, he said softly. The Green Phantom only comes for the worst criminals. If you hold regret in your heart, he'll forgive you. He'll offer a second chance. The boy's anxious demeanor suddenly turned to a rebellious grin. I regret nothing, and you, old man, you don't have the faintest clue what you're prattling about. You're wrong. I also met the Phantom once before. The tenderfoot nomad's eyes widened in surprise for a brief moment. It seemed as if there was a question at the tips of his lips, but he refused to ask. There was a question at the tips of his lips, but he refused to ask it. It's late, the old-timer said. You should sleep. You're exhausted and need to gather your strength before you continue running, if that's what you choose to do. My home is open for you tonight. The boy uttered no thanks. Without a word, he stood and entered the small, dark bedroom where his host had prepared a bed. To find his way, he switched on his infrared and immediately froze in place. There was a body lying in the bed. He edged closer until he could discern its shapes. A pool of cooling blood, withered hands contorted into unnatural angles, the vacant dead eyes of the old man he had only just been talking to in the other room. Suddenly the walls began to emanate an otherworldly olive glow. The boy could sense a figure enter the bedroom and stand behind him. If you regret nothing, hissed a cold, emotionless voice, then why do you flee? Then black, the world of the young nomad plunged into darkness. So I guess the old man was wrong, because it seemed like he did it. If he was right, then if he was right, then he wasn't really, he was like just as guilty as the boy was, and didn't have regret in his heart. So I don't know. That was a creepy read. This must be the library. This does look like a library, and I'm just I'm borrowing from the library. Let me read the rest of this stuff.
Salam alaikum.
That almost sounded like Tagalog. Salamat means thank you. Salamamiko, I'm not really sure what that means. The fall of the backers. The indirect cause of the family's weakening in leadership was paradoxically not enough internal opposition within the group. Decisions made by Selita Backer, the charismatic and surprisingly long-lived leader, were made without so much as a grumble, and her orders were carried out immediately. Selita led the Backers with an iron fist. She was a domineering figure, perhaps overwhelmingly so, but you couldn't call her a tyrant. Loved and respected by all, towards the end of her life, she seemed to regret that nobody in the family tried to take power or at the very least challenge her authority. After her death, the family entered a transition period. Selita's position was occupied successfully by Delu Backer, Lorna Ruiz, and Chari Dallin. None of them led the family for more than 2 years. Delu died during a skirmish with Rafin Shiv, Lorna resigned, and Cherry simply collected her things and disappeared from the camp one day. It seems that the family depended so long on Selita that when she was gone, nobody could make any firm unilateral decisions. The family's subsequent leaders ruled without any conviction, in the words of Trim Backer, who, like many other young members, left the Backer family after it decided to merge with Snake Nation. Trin. When I looked at Dulu or Sherry, I had the impression they had an invisible sign over their heads that said, "What would Selita do?" Lorna was all right, but she drank too much. To be honest, I don't blame her. I think Grandma's heart would break if she saw how quickly her successors went through the family's supplies and tore up contracts and agreements with other clans. And the idea to join Snake Nation? We might as well have asked Raf and Shiv to line us up on the dirt and execute us. What's the difference? That was the true end of the family. That's why I, Ashian, Lil, Elam, Afshin, Persia, and others decided to leave. Do you still keep in touch? No. The Odyssey. Is this like the Roman Odyssey? Say what thy birth and what the name you bore, imposed by parents in the natal hour. For from the natal hour distinctive names, one common right the great and lowly claims. Say from what city, from what regions tossed, and what inhabitants those regions boast. So shalt thou instant reach the realm assigned, in wondrous ships self-moved instinct with mind. No helm secures their course, no pilot guides. Like man intelligent, they plow the tides, conscious of every coast and every bay that lies beneath the sun's all-seeing ray. Though clouds and darkness veil the encumbered sky, fearless through darkness and through clouds they fly. Though tempests rage, though rolls the swelling main, the seas may roll, the tempests rage in vain. Even the stern god that o'er the waves presides, safe as they pass and safe repass the tides. With fury burns while careless they convey, promiscuous every guest to every bay. These ears have heard my royal sire disclose a dreadful story big with future woes. How Neptune raged. Yeah, this is definitely Roman. I think I did the Iliad. I took Latin for 4 years, and I think I did the Iliad, not the Odyssey. And how by his command, firm rooted in a surge, a ship should stand, a monument of wrath, how mound on mound should bury these proud towers beneath the ground. But this the gods may frustrate or fulfill, as suits the purpose of the eternal will. But say through what waste regions hast thou strayed, what customs noted and what coasts surveyed, possessed by wild barbarians fierce in arms, or men whose bosom tender pity warms. Say why the fate of Troy awakened thy cares, why heaved thy bosom, and why flowed thy tears. Homer. That's right, Homer. Smuggling. I'm not sure what the significance of that Odyssey excerpt was, though. Smuggling. If you want to transport goods, you need contacts. Without contacts, forget about doing business. Forget about it. Who will you need to pay off? Custom officers, guards, the people at gas stations. Don't forget the motels. You take care of that. You can show up and vanish as you please. Keep them happy and they'll know when to turn a blind eye. It's also a good idea to strike a rapport with the fellows from Orbital Air, that is, if you're planning to ship something into orbit. Remember those boxes full of seedlings last year? That could only have happened because my boys at OA Customs looked the other way for 15 seconds. Make sure you're well equipped. Don't use standard signal jammers. Custom agents aren't stupid. They'll know you're hiding something at the border. Besides which, there are no models they can't disable. Use upgraded jammers that work hyper-locally in the exact place you're hiding the goods. Secure packages with ice, ideally bought from us. You can trust family. Use your imagination. Do you know how I managed to transport a few dozen pounds of drugs to SoCal? I paid the right people not to ask any questions and hitched a ride with All Foods convoy. Nobody realized that several containers of food were packed full of drugs. Plan your routes carefully. You have up-to-date border patrol routes and areas scanned in real time by corporate satellites, and you have good old American roads. Use back roads and routes that corpo convoys would rather avoid. You can also dance around those old minefields since the Corps don't patrol there anymore. Oh wow, there's minefields somewhere? Oh gosh, gotta keep that in mind. Although apparently by now, they know we passed through there and it's only a matter of time. Use the tunnels as a last resort. These days, it's usually a one-way trip. You go through one, and the second you're out and the satellites have a lock on you. So in case you do, step on it. And most of all, brothers and sisters, don't get caught. And I think this will be the last one from this room, at least. Nushar, the long return, aftermath of great nomad tragedy. Most sources indicate that the governments of Peru, Brazil, and Chile have come to a solution for the so-called nomad problem. In an attempt to prevent the illegal transnational movement and typically temporary settlement of nomad clans across the South American continent, they plan to seal all borders to undocumented persons of dubious origin. Protestations from scholars, human rights groups, and even corporate representatives have thus been ignored. Some corporations have voiced concerns that stifling the flow of migrant work could lead to economic decline and unpredictable social unrest. For example, some experts predict the local Brazilian workforce will simply be too small to meet the employment demands of ongoing major agricore ventures. This push for tightened anti-nomad immigration policies comes as yet another heavy blow to South American governments against an already heavily targeted demographic. More information continues to surface about the so-called long return, where hundreds of thousands of nomads lost their jobs without warning and had their equipment, much of it personal, not company property, illegally seized by government authorities. Most laborers were relocated from North America specifically for this work and, without corporate support, were forced to vacate the hazardous area formerly home to the Amazon rainforest in a week's time. With their only lifeline suddenly severed and no legal basis for staying, many dozens of thousands attempted to find a way home, even if that mean walking much of that distance. Initial reports show staggering figures for the number who died during this mass exodus. Many still ask, why? Who benefits from these anti-nomad policies and border closures if not the South American nations or corporations? Many speculate that lobbyists from Orbital Air and other lunar colony representatives played a key part. Their objective, some allege, is to limit opportunities for migrant contract work, so more will be forced, for the sake of survival, to accept employment in the notoriously difficult labor conditions of low Earth orbit and on the moon. Okay. Now that we've gotten... It'd be nice if we got XP for lore, like they do in Dragon Age. Oh, let me just read this one real quick as well while we're here. And take your stuff. I'm sure you won't mind.
Oh, hey there.
Hey there. That's a nice looking lunch over there. What is it? What you eating? It's why can I not? A Nicola. Nicola.
It's a beautiful day, huh?
It is, and that's a beautiful Nicola. Can I see? Thanks. Nomads at Ground Zero. It was no secret Nightcore offered generous pay, and in some cases free cyberware and biomonitor upgrades to anyone willing to help clean up the crater of radioactive rubble at AHQ Ground Zero. Some first-hand accounts recall the incessant ticking of Geiger counters, like the loud buzz of cicadas in summer. In retrospect, we can only guess how many crater cleaners lost their lives to radiation sickness shortly thereafter. Both the city government and Nightcore have claimed casualties were kept to a minimum, while providing no official statistics to substantiate the claim. That being said, they have never been under pressure to release such figures. After all, most rescue engineering and rubble cleanup teams were not local night citizens, but nomads. Surprised you didn't know? Don't be. It's a fact many history courses tend to overlook. The city employed hundreds of nomad mercenaries, primarily from clans in Aldecaldo Nation. These nomads were hungry for gainful work, and the city needed experts who were not only experienced but brave enough to knowingly put their lives on the line. So also Arasaka could one day erect another tower in its place. But history is not without its sense of irony. These nomads who so deliberately live outside of our so-called system came to its very rescue, not for the first time and not for the last. Learning a lot more about these nomad lifestyle. All right, sorry, girl. I know that I made you wait for just a moment. You can wait one more moment. One more. I'm trying to be thorough, guys. Crime block.
Where's Mitch? He was supposed to meet me here.
He'll be here any minute.
Mr. McCrane scanned the room with a deft Kiroshi sweep. This corpse was no different from the dozens he'd seen over the years. The dead man's eyes frozen in fear, his ligaments, wires, and intestines strewn about the floor. None of it made any impact on McCrane anymore. I've lived too long, he thought, and cops who don't die quick usually find themselves playing for the other side eventually. This case is as clear as a used napkin in Deputy Zhao's, he murmured to Junior Inspector Malinowski. Cyberpsycho came in through the window. Victim led him inside, must have known each other. Prints are all over the glass. Malinowski shook his head in disbelief. How did the effer get all the way up to the 7th floor? See those grooves on the windowsill? Climbing spikes. Implants these kids these days are getting installed to put stupid rooftop stunts. to pull stupid rooftop stunts, get cheap thrills. Malinowski made his way over to the window to examine the evidence his superior had so effortlessly pierced together. The veteran detective lit a cigarette and stared back into the corpse's lifeless eyes. Although McCrane had never seen this man before, he felt as if he had known him a long time. And still, he felt nothing for him. No pity, no compassion. This was only a body now, no longer a person. Suddenly, Malinowski's unsteady voice woke McCrane from his thoughts. Boss? These prints on the outside of the window, they belong to you. McCrane let out a quick, puncturing chuckle. Never much took you for a jokester, Malinowski, the detective said with an amused smirk as he rolled up his sleeves to expose his wrists. And I wonder just how would I get there without any climber's claws, But before the junior inspector could respond, McCrane felt an uneasiness shoot up his spine. This room, this man, the smell of his blood. He felt compelled to walk over to the savaged victim and reached inside his pocket. A photo, his own face staring back at him. Malinowski slowly drew his pistol. I believe in you, the shaken protege uttered with a pain in his voice. All this time, I idolized a murderer. I don't understand, muttered McCrane, scarcely loud enough to hear his own voice. Something else began to drown out his words, even his thoughts, a strange, primal force. For the first time in my life, I don't understand. And then crack, a gunshot.
You never mentioned seeking outside help.
We can use all the help we can get.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go. How we doing this?
How you want to do this?
Nice.
Quietly.
So
An open
suave.
assault would be suicide.
So suave.
Mitch is already setting up the recon. You'll sneak into the Wraith's camp while I cover you.
Just us two? What about the rest?
Wait. Meaning it's just gonna be us two? What about all you guys?
Look around! The last attacks left barely half of us standing.
That's
Our
true.
supplies are stuck outside goddamn Reno, and our gear... Don't get me started.
We're
Okay.
up shit creek, static. And I don't know if we're ever gonna find or fashion a paddle. Try as we might.
Your leader gets nabbed and you, what, hope for the best? Rather not think about what you do for the ones at the bottom of your food chain.
You're asking for trouble.
Leave it! He has a right not to understand.
Yeah, I'm not a nomad. I'm
There's
a cushy
Mitch.
corpo. Hey, Mitch. Hey, Mitch.
I floated
More-
a drone over the Wraith's camp.
I'm gonna say, hey, Mitch. Like, that's more references to Hunger Games, besides Pan Am.
Will you take a look, or would you rather keep mouthing off?
I'm gonna be like, yeah, diffuse the situation.
Mitch,
How are
how
you?
you been?
Wishing duct tape could right all the world's wrongs? And hey, it shouldn't be me occupying your thoughts, but Saul. You taking a look or not?
Let's see what we got here.
The Raffins can't see it. Active camo, but that practically inhales battery juice, so make it quick.
Okay. Yo.
They found an abandoned cement plant to squat in, with a massive heavy gear. Locusts would be a better name for them. They fly into a place, strip it of all it's got, then move on. But this time, you see the wall? They've added some primitive security measures. It points to them aiming to stay longer. The
Okay.
question is why.
We can
Who
hack
knows
our way
for
through
sure,
there.
But I would guess that Saul is part of the reason. If he's still there, we have to find a way inside.
Okay.
That guard post is probably connected to the rest of the camp.
Probably.
Way in.
Maybe, but there are also breaches in the wall. Lightly guarded sections. Do you see the tracks?
Yeah.
Tire tracks. Their vehicles were moving heavy freight.
Wraith Hunter. Yeah, lots of Wraith Hunters. Satellite? Okay.
It could have been equipment. Either that or Saul's
Fuel
not their
tank
only prisoner.
explosive.
The tracks lead to the truck. Can you scan it?
Yeah, I got it.
That's probably the one they kept Saul in.
Behemoth. The sale of this model accounted for as much as 16% of Militech's revenue in 2076. Just a year ago. Observe the main building.
The main building. There. Saul must be inside.
Quite a spread. Feel like looking for a diamond in a hailstorm.
If they haven't scrapped and gutted the place for parts, you could access the local camnet.
True.
You just need to find the control room.
Sure. Or I can just hack it and hack into it again. Okay, sounds good. I dig. More Wraith Hunters. Wraith Ghoul, Wraith Hunter. Yep, there's a lot of folks here.
The skywalk. It connects the garage to the main structure.
Okay.
Okay, got some stuff to work with now.
All right. Nice to take a
everything clear?
plan. Let's re-summarize.
Let's sum things up just to be sure.
Sheesh. Okay. The Raffins captured Saul. They're holding him somewhere inside their base. We are the cavalry riding to the rescue, hoping to make it in time. You will strive to slip into the camp while I cover you, but we'll let bullets fly only as a last resort.
Or when I F up.
They are many, we are few, so we'll need to look for any chance to gain the upper hand.
I think we'll be okay.
You will pull Saul out, and the three of us will ride away at top speed. All clear now?
I'm
Yep.
good.
Let's
Yep.
go get Saul.
Let's
Perfect.
get him.
Mitch, is the van primed?
I did what I could. Take a tour.
All right. Better call Saul. Or better save Saul.
Solid job.
I mostly improvised, actually.
Either way, it'll have to do.
Hold
Okay.
on a minute, I got one more thing.
Yeah, what you got for me,
If
baby?
you find Saul hasn't flatlined, you'll probably need this. Spike Superjet. A Rhino
Ooh.
dose. It should speed up Saul's central pump.
Ooh, a rhino dose. Good gravy.
Hope so.
Thanks.
Thought I could carry him out on my back.
Thanks.
So that should be everything.
Let's do it.
V,
I'm ready.
Will you ride with me?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course I'm going with you.
Way more fun with you.
Okay, you take the wheel.
Come on,
Want me
BFF.
drive?
You want me
Yep,
driving?
I need to fiddle with my scope a bit.
All right. All right, let's go. BFFs.
Ah, shit!
Oh no. Maybe I shouldn't be operating vehicles while this is happening. It's okay. YOLO. Yeah, I shouldn't be operating vehicles. Are you sure you want me driving?
Oh, yeah. We even have a radio in here.
Are you
Take
sure
it
you
for a
want me
spin,
driving? Oh man, we're just off-roading like crazy. Oh, I just went right through that tree. This thing's traction is not that great. I was not expecting it to be sliding around that much. Okay. .8 kilometers. All right. Yeah, this thing. The traction in this thing is awful. All right. This is a straightaway, but there's going to be several cars coming. Oh man.
Still can't believe he let himself get captured.
Let himself get
Anyone
captured.
else? But Saul?
Said yourself he's not at the top of his form.
Yes, but moving civilians across the border during a bombardment? Hijacking a petrochem tanker? Opening the valves? Cranking a few figure eights to set the desert ablaze and give the kids a fun show? That's the Saul I remember.
All that are idols.
I know. It's just...
All right, we're almost there. 600 meters.
Holy... Do you see that? That is one hell of a storm!
Oh man, I
Looking
see it.
bad.
That's looking
it's
really
bad and more
bad.
than its look. We have to move quickly.
Snowstorm is not going to be to our
Okay,
advantage, I don't think.
Let's go over the plan again. You slip into the Wraith's camp, soft as a fox. But if things get noisy, I'll be your long-distance insurance policy. We need to hide the car. Park beside that outcrop.
Here we go.
Okay, out. I'll find a place to roost and keep you in sight. You just watch yourself down there.
All right. Here we go. It's showtime. There it is. I'm definitely saving. All right. Suicide. Yeah, suicide. I was nowhere near him. You can't prove I did anything. You can't prove anything. Okay. There's a satellite there. People are
All right, I'm in
inside.
position. I have you in range.
Oops, there's somebody over there. Overheat. Ooh. Reboot optics. Don't let him see anything. Somebody's up there.
Damn it, stay out of sight!
Sorry.
We're playing hide and seek now?
Yeah, I'm playing hide and seek now. Take him out too. Next. Someone's up there. Friendly mode. Let's do camera control.
Hey, I will find you, you know. And when I do.
Ugh, this is gonna be great. Yeah. Alright. Whoa. I found Saul.
I think. Locked in the cellar.
How is he?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Too dark.
Okay, get down there and get him. Maybe we made it in time.
I found them before I even set foot into the camp. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Yep. I'm just kind of hanging out. Ooh, legendary item. That guy just witnessed that and was like, what the heck? Overheat. Let's do an overheat. And a short circuit. Wow, you're not looking so hot, bub. Somebody's revealing my position. Rude. It's alright. I might as well take out some people while I'm at it. I mean, the cameras are just gonna do my job for me. Wow. My my blood magic is crazy good right now. I didn't even set foot in this place, and I'm already like... Overheat. Yeah. Yep. Burn, burn, burn.